Hello, everybody. J3GS Farm here. It's been a rainy day. I hope uh, I hope y'all ain't getting wet. It's been a rainy day. Other than that, it's been a. I guess since it's been raining, it's been a kind of a boring day. But I just want to talk a little bit about that title up there. Money rules all. I was thinking, as they say, nobody's coming to save you. And it hits me even more now. Yeah, there's nobody coming to save you. You got to save yourself. And I was thinking hard about this because of my AC system. Now, my AC, I don't know anything about air conditioning, but one thing I do know, Happy Mac, how you doing? Welcome in, sis. One thing I do know is if there's somebody there and they showing me and they talking to me in the process of doing something, I'm gonna learn. My Renaissance grandma, how you doing? Welcome in. Uh, when somebody's doing something, I'm gonna learn. When it comes to fixing cars, I can do that. When it comes to building, I can do that. Some electrical work. This is one of the things too in this situation with the AC. Some electrical work I can do. I don't have a problem doing light switches and all this stuff. I learned that the when I was growing up, it was always the white was positive and the black was negative. And okay, Renee, how you doing? When I started doing some work in a church back in the 80s, I realized that black was not negative, black was positive. But to get not to change the subject, but this whole thing got to do with my AC. The people came, serviced my AC in December. My AC hasn't been on except for in February when we had that snow. The heat was on. So now, on the 19th of this month, it was hot. We turned the AC on. The unit in the house was running, but the unit outside wasn't running. So I said, something wrong. Now, this is the thing that gets me where nobody's coming to your rescue. Yeah, nobody's coming to your rescue. Nobody's coming to save you. But someone is always trying to take your money or steal it from you. You understand what I'm saying? They're always trying to steal it from you or they're trying to take it. And the thing with that is, I come to the realization that people let money rule them. As long as I can get your money, I'm happy. And the bad thing about when you get the money, you buy stuff that you really don't need, that really don't want. It's just you having the money. Now, on this AC I have out here, I had 3 different companies come and look at my AC. The original people I got the AC from, this AC is 10 years old. I got it put in 2015. They come did the last service in December last year. Now, one thing that I don't like when somebody come and do your service and there's 2 people. Now, when they came in December, 2 people came, and it's usually 1. So I'm always paying attention to what they do. Black Guns and Garden, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. Same thing, Caden Ray, the same thing happened to us, and the air was out, those super 94 degrees. We had to call behind his back. I understand, Kay. But the only difference is between me and you. My service was done in December. We didn't turn the system on until February. And We turned it back off after February. We never turned it back on until May. May 19th is when we turned the AC back on. We didn't use the heat. We didn't use the air. But May 19th, we turned it on. Wasn't nothing working. Just the inside portion was working. It was blowing hot air constantly. So I called 3 companies. The original people that put it in for me. Excuse me. I talked with them and everything. And Official Jamil, welcome in. How you doing? I talked to them, and one thing that gets me is everybody that come to check out my system, I told them what the problem is, and then they stay outside. They never come inside the house. They go outside. They take the plug out. It kills the electricity, but there's still electricity inside that compressor, which I didn't know, but that's one of the things I just found out this time. And the first folks, they told me 22,000. I got to get a whole new unit. I said, oh man. And I said, let me think about it. I called my brother. He lives in North Carolina, and I was telling him about it and everything. I thought he may have knew something about AC and all that. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, your compressor's bad. There's a little silver container on the inside of the compartment on the compressor. So he said, that's bad. That's bad. So I kind of didn't want to listen to him. And the thing to this, my wife, she know the situation. She came up too, and she said, you need to check that capacitor. You need to check that capacitor. I said, okay. So I don't know nothing about the AC system. I didn't want to mess with it because I know there's a lot of electricity in there. That's the only reason I didn't want to mess with it. Handcrafting by Jackie. How you doing? Forgive me. Renee Secret Garden, welcome in. I really didn't want to mess with it because it has so much energy going to it. Then I call these other people from another town over. They came and checked it. I told them what the situation was. They went straight to the machine in the back outside. They unhooked the power supply, and he started doing all his stuff. The first guy he said, you don't have any Freon in here. I said, okay. And the thing I realized now, when there was 2 people at my house checking my system and so-called straightening out in December, one was outside, one was in the attic. And I can't be in both places. I'd rather be in my house with a stranger than to be outside my house. So I was on the inside. I never had a problem with my AC before. It would cool and everything. Now, I kind of say the guy didn't know what he was doing from the get-go, but he may know what he was doing because my warranty was up in January. So do you think, do I think somebody would tamper with the equipment? Yes. So when all this happened, the first people, they say you don't have any Freon in it. It's going to cost you a little over $8,000. And that's putting the Freon in it, running the leak test and all this other stuff. He said $8,000. He said $8,000, you might as well buy a whole new unit. I said, man. I said, you see all them trees right there? I said, ain't none of them a money tree. None of them produce money. So I said, don't none produce money. But he telling me I might as well get a whole new system. If I'm paying $8,000 just to get all these repairs, I might as well get a whole new system. But when he gave me the price, his price was $22,000. I said, I ain't got that kind of money. So I told him, I said, just hold off. 2 days later, I called this other company, another town over. He came. I told him the situation, everything. He went straight to the back of the house. He started doing his little stuff, and he said, you ain't got no Freon in here. Oh, man. That just tore up the whole system. The system don't even work anymore. I said, what? I said, just because it don't have any Freon? Now, I worked on cars. I know Freon go in the car and everything. And I know because you don't have any Freon in it, that's not going to destroy the whole car. So I let them, I went ahead, and both of them, they gave me paperwork on the prices of the system. So the thing to it is, with all them prices, I got to go get a loan. The third guy came. He came from down there in Brunswick area. He checked that out and everything, and he said, well, let me see. He hooked up a little holes to it, and he said, I'm gonna put the gas in there, and this is gonna happen, and that's gonna happen. He hooked up the little holes to it. He put the gas in, and the holes started freezing up. The aluminum pipe started freezing up. And he said, that's not supposed to happen right there. He said, it's clogged up. I said, what? It's clogged up. It won't let the gases go through anything to clear out the holes, anything. He said, man, it's messed up. It's messed up. It won't accept no air or anything. I said, oh man. This was on Thursday. Friday. This was on Friday. I'm thinking about it, head hurting, because I said, now I got to have some air in the house, basically for the wife. She needs the air. I like heat, but I got to have the air on for the wife and everything. Sarah Happy Highs, how you doing? Miss Shirley, how you doing? Thank y'all for coming in. I'm just telling what's happening and how you got to guard your pocket, your money, the money you ain't got, but the money that you can get, you got to protect that as well. So I went to the bank, had to pay my regular bills. And this guy I know, he said, did you get your AC fixed yet? I said, no. He said, I know a guy. This is the guy that put the little tube onto it and everything and said it was all stopped up and everything. So Saturday, I was sitting here scratching my head. I was just bombarded. I said I need to go fishing, relax my mind, all that stuff. I went out there, cleaned up my fishing gear and everything. Didn't even go fishing. Praying about it and everything. And then Sunday came along. For some reason, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I said, I'm going out there tomorrow, which was Sunday. I said, I'm going out there and I'm going to work on this thing myself. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it Sunday. I just kept thinking about it. I said, now, if I hit something the wrong way, I'm going to be dead. Because it's a little container out there, but it has a big jolt. Even though the system is cut off from the house, it's a battery for the compressor. So I still didn't want to do it. But Sunday, it stayed on me so hard that I got up, did what I needed to do, went and just laid in the bed. And then I said, I'm going to go do it. Went and got my tools, went around there, looked at the AC and everything. Oh, the guy that came and checked and put the stuff in there said it had it was clogged up and everything. His boss ran through the system. They ran through the system and everything. They got me a whole new system in the attic, outside and everything. $8,325. I said, whew. I said, that's way better than the last two. But I couldn't get it out my head. And sometimes when the Lord speaks to you, we get hard-headed. When we have a problem, we get hard-headed and don't want to listen. So Monday, I was laying in the bed and I said, let me get up and go do this thing. I was scared. Got my tools, went out there, took the panel off and everything. And I look at the capacitor. I said, it's not swollen. I said, the capacitor got to be good. It's a little rusty, but it's not swollen. That's when I done watch YouTube. I done talk to my brother. If it's swollen and everything, the capacitor is bad. It ain't no good. My brother said, mine happened like that. I bought a new capacitor and I also bought a spare because he the one that told me about the AC system before. He knew more than I did about the AC. So he said, when you get it fixed, you buy a spare. So I didn't buy a spare yet, but Monday, after I open it up and I'm just looking in there, it has a capacitor, then it has another one hooked up to it. I said, now all the videos I saw only had one capacitor. So I said, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother. And then the Lord brought to my mind, you just talked to a lady Friday. And I'm saying, what? I keep saying, I wish I knew somebody that did AC work because everybody trying to rip me off. And I kept saying, I wish I knew somebody. I ain't got no friends. I don't know nobody. And then it just popped in my head. Lord said, you know somebody because when you went to go pay your insurance, the lady told you her son does AC. That just flew all the way by me because when we talk, we be talking for a good while, and it just flew by me. So it hit me. It was a little around 11 something in the morning. I decided I call her up. Hey, didn't you say your son do AC? Yeah, he used to do AC on Fort Stewart and all that stuff. He's not in the AC business anymore, but he still does it on his own. I said, okay. I'll say, okay. I said, can your son please come over? She said, I'll give him a call and I'll text him too. This was about 11:15 that I called her. I'm just waiting for my phone call to ring, waiting for my phone to ring and everything. 3:00. I said, oh man, I guess he ain't gonna call me. I said, well, I guess I had to pay the $8,000. But it was still hitting on me. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Because if you work on anything in my house, I will pay attention to it. No matter what your mouth say, I see what your hands do. And that's the way I am. Miss Rachel, welcome in. How you doing? Sarah Happy Highs, welcome in. A lot of thieves are out there. Most definitely, Renee. Most definitely. Growing what I eat. Welcome in, bro. Now, he called me. It was around 4:00. So I thought he didn't live too far from me. So I thought he'd be right over. He said, I'm eating dinner, then I'll be over there. So I said, all right. And I'm just waiting. I took my shoes off and everything and shirt off and was chilling. But since he said, I'm coming, I got dressed and everything again because it was hot in here. So got dressed and just waiting on him. About 6:00, he got here. I told him what the problem was. And the first thing he said was, go turn your AC on and turn it down to one of the lowest settings so the air conditioning come on. Now, he did something that the other ones didn't do. He told me, come in the house, turn the AC on. Everybody else knew the AC was off. They didn't care nothing about it. They only care about the unit outside. He said, turn your AC on the lowest setting so the cooling to start and all that stuff. So I did that, came back outside with him, and we started talking. I know his mom and everything. We start talking, and I'm watching what he's doing. And I showed him this. This is a cayenne pepper, but this is an example. The tube that the other guy put on to put the sealant in the system is about this long. And I showed it to him and everything. And he said, that's an expensive thing right there. I said, yeah. He left it. I want to keep it in case they come back. So he said, no problem. So he hooked the Freon up into the tank and everything. And Me and him just talking. Next thing you know, the fan starts spinning and everything. Everything is working the way it's supposed to work. I said, what? I said, now these folks done told me that I got to buy a new system. I had 3 companies come in, and now the first 2, they in my area, but they another town. And the last one, he was in my area, but he came in and he started talking like a child of God and start talking about this, that, and the other. And sure, I thank God for this and God that and God. I said, yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah. But right now, I know what you're saying is true, but something wasn't right while you was telling it to me. So me and this other guy, the guy I just met, the last one, he sat down on the ground and everything. I said, there's a spider on your foot. He old country boy. He said, it'd be all right. So he's putting the air in and everything. He said, this Freon is expensive. It's $45 a pound. I said, okay, let's get it full. Let's get it working. All the stuff. So he said, all right, no problem. He filled it up and everything, and it was $50 a pound. He gave it to me for $45. So after he filled the whole system up, everything in the house started working well. The fan out there is working well. The AC upstairs working. Everybody in the house cool, kind of freezing. I think the other night when I came on Tampa Creek, I commented I was cooking a steak, but I was also freezing. So I was waiting for it to shut off and everything. The system worked good and everything now, and I'm trying to figure out why people have to be so greedy. Why? Now, you want to charge me $21,000, $22,000 for a new AC. Number one, I'm going to have to get a loan. I'm going to have to go out and get a loan. But that don't matter to you. The thing to it is, I come to the realization these people out here in this so-called world, I don't care if you get a debt from me. I'm going to get the money. It's your responsibility to pay it. They're going to come to you and tell you how honest they is to do a service for you, whatever. But they ain't honest at all. If you can tell a man that your whole system is damaged, is broke, it's not working, that you got to get a whole new system. That means a new system outside, a new system in the attic. And now, hey, like I told him, I'm retired. I don't get a paycheck going do 40 hours a week and all that stuff. I'm retired. That's what I live on. But now you want me to go get a $22,000 bill that'll take away half of what I'm making. I said, no. No. But like I said, I thank the Lord for those that, you know what I'm talking about? I thank God for his guidance for the simple reason I couldn't get it out of my head. It kept coming, check the capacitor, check it out. And I could work on cars. I didn't know I could work on an 18-wheeler either until my son pulled it up to the house. I didn't know I could work on an 18-wheeler. So, hey, they don't care about you. Like many people have said, don't nobody care about you. Ain't nobody coming to save you. That's true enough. Ain't nobody coming to save you, but they are coming to steal your money, take your money. And they're going to leave you in the condition that you was in. Okay, it's going to be good for a while, but you're just going to be worse off than you were before. And another thing, the guy, he was enlightening me. He said, yeah, you're going to get an AC, and in the average, it's going to last 10 to 15 years. But all the warranties are 10 years. The warranty is 10 years. After them 10 years, you on your own. You got to find somebody to give you warranty or find somebody to do this stuff all together. Man, before this guy left my house, I said, I tell you what, you still do AC, right? He said, yeah. I said, I tell you what, you hired. I said, you come check out my system. I'll give you if there's any problem, I tell you what. He said, okay, I tell you what, now that we got the system running and everything right now, we'll wait till the middle of the summer or the end of the summer, and I'll come check it again and check the whole system, and we can actually see whether you have a leak of Freon or not. Because he said the whole time he was out there was no leak on my system. So he said if there's a leak, it has to be in the attic or something. But there was no leak on the whole system. So I told him, I said, you're hired. Whenever I got a problem, I will call you. He said, no problem, no problem. So one thing that I learned, this is the price range, $22,000 to $21,000, $8,325 down to $325. To get this system fixed and running only costs $325. Y'all don't know how happy I was. If it was a girl, I would have kissed him. But no, Craft. Wow, that's a blessing. So glad you waited and listened. Yeah, the thing to it is, I want to just go get the loan and pay off everything right then. I could have had this happen on the 19th. I could went and got the loan and everything and had the whole system put in on the 20th. But it just wasn't right with me. And I prayed about it. My wife, she prayed for me and prayed to God too, because she wanted to make sure I do the right thing. So she prayed for me too. And at one point, I want to say, I'm gonna just get it. I'm gonna get it. When that was the people who originally bought the stuff, when they said 20, 22, 21,000, I said to myself, I don't have a choice. I ain't got a choice. Because I was thinking about the family. Still couldn't get it done. I didn't go nowhere, nothing. Then the second guy came. He gave me a price and everything. I said, oh man. The second guy, their price was so, the first one was 20, 22, 21. The second one was 20,000, but I had to put so much down so that they would only finance 10,000. And I said, that was still too much. Because if I put $16,000 down, you still gonna get $20,000 when you finance. No. And then I told the other folks how much it was, what the other guys quoted me. He said, no. He ripped me off. It don't cost that much for AC unit. I said, oh, okay. That's when I got the 8,325. That's when I got that price. And I was happy then. I was happy with that, but I still didn't get the easement in my mind and heart. I still didn't get the easement until the Lord said, you know somebody, but you didn't know somebody. So once I called this fella and he told me everything, while he was doing it, he showed me everything. Because I told him I wanted to learn. He showed me everything everything that he was doing. He showed me, he told me about it. That's one of the things right there. And one of the main things that he showed me, he said, you see this little switch right here? This switch is part of the system. The Everyday Life OD-ish chick. How you doing, Nikki? Susan Margeron, welcome in, sis, from the Philippines. One of the things he showed me, it's about the size of this GoPro. It was a little switch down there. And what this switch does is, if you're low on Freon, it will stop the system from running. That's so the system don't burn up. Nobody else said that. The other three guys that came, they didn't say nothing about it. They said this. He said this little switch right here. Let me show it to you. He said, now this switch, if you got less Freon in your system that it needs to run the system, this will not work. He didn't tell me that. Ain't nobody said nothing like that. Now these folks, they come into your house and they telling you what they think you want to hear, but they want your money. This fella, he told me about this little switch. Now, and I'm just thinking it's running through my head and everything. And he showed me this right here, another switch on there. He pressed it, press the switch, everything shuts off. This man saved me some money, saved me some heartache, saved me some heartburn. Hey, I told him he got a customer. I don't know whether he worked for anybody else, but I tell him he can work for me. So every 6 months, 3 to 6 months, he'll be at my house to check my system out. So I done talk y'all head off. Let me get in here and say hello to some more people again. I spoke to everybody. A great blessing. Yes, it is. I'm gonna tell you, you might see me sweating now because it's off right now. One thing he told me, he said you could set your AC on automatic so that it'll come on when the heat need to come on, heat come on, when the air need to come on, it come on. But apparently I haven't got that worked out yet, because every night I seem to have to come turn the AC off because it get cold in here, and I don't like cold weather. The wife might be fine, the grandson might be fine, but I do not like it cold. So I put it on automatic. Hopefully it would do what it need to do. New Orleans Garden, welcome in, Miss Linda. How you doing? I listened to you for about an hour and something. I was listening to you. I couldn't say anything, but hey, some good information for the seniors. But I don't like the cold. I've been trying to work this thing. I've been testing it, trying to see what temperatures I could put on that it'll shut off and shut off by itself to do the automatic things. But I haven't found that yet. Rambo Greenhand, welcome in, bro. Good to see you. So there's a protected safety. So there's a protected safety switch. Oh, that fries my butt thing. Well, Happy Mac, I didn't know nothing about this. He showed me the switch where if you don't have enough Freon in it, it will cut off so that it doesn't burn the system up. I didn't know that. Like I said, I didn't know nothing about AC, but I'm most definitely going to try to learn now. I'm going to get, instead of watching all these YouTube, I'm gonna get me 1 or 2 books, and I might even go buy me the system that I could hook it up and test everything myself. It's better to have and not need to need it than to need and not have it at all. Because if I can take care of my own system, that's what I want. That's another thing too. Y'all might jump on me, but the younger kids, we gotta have them to get a trade. I don't mind. Like I told my grandkids, I pay for your college, but I want you to get a trade. I want you to get something that you can fall back on. I want you to get something that you can help your family. It's not about charging your family, but if my AC went out, I want my grandson to be able to come and figure, Papa, I got it. And if he needs something extra, I don't mind buying it because I know that he can fix it. That's what I want. I want us as dark-skinned people, I want us to get some trades. Truthfully, I think the trade school and stuff went out back in the late 80s, early 90s. And it's pouring down rain now again. That's what I want for the young people to get a trade, some way, somehow get some kind of trade. You can work for yourself. You can fall back on doing something instead of having to pay somebody that don't care about you to come take care of your stuff and overcharge you 10 times what they should. Cheryl Norris, welcome in. How you doing? The Analytic Gardener, welcome in. Been in the bushes for a moment. What a blessing. Thank you for sharing your testimony. Hey, I'm happy to share it. It was a blessing when he said $325. I knew I was blessed then. $325 compared to $22,000. Boy, my French ain't good, and my Korean I only know mostly bad words in that, and I hate to start speaking Korean because I don't want y'all to know what I'm saying. Trademen give you cash discounts most of the time. Trademen give you count most of the time. I don't know nothing about that. I just know if you know somebody or you got somebody in your family that can do it, hey, that's the best thing. In Germany and at Fort Stewart, when I was stationed at Germany and Fort Stewart, church I attended and everything, anybody had car problems, I usually took care of their cars. The only thing they had to give me was iced tea. That was it. That's the only thing I request. Give me some iced tea. I said, make sure some good iced tea. Some of them bought me bottles of iced tea and some bring me glass of iced tea. I was content. I never charged anybody for fixing their cars. I never charged anybody. That was just me. You have a good evening too, Miss Sarah. See you later, Analytic. My grandson have a certification for he's a barber, auto mechanic, and he drives 18-wheelers. My youngest son is at school for hey, that's it. They always got something to fall back on, Miss Linda. Now, my son drives trucks. And I always tell my son, you got to get a side hustle. But he do what he can do. LGGG, welcome in. And that's me. I thank God for, I'm not going to say the way I was totally raised, but I thank God for the people that God put in my life being raised up. My uncle was my grandfather was my daddy. Figuratively speaking, he was my daddy. My uncle was when I left Albany and went to New York City, my uncle was my daddy. He did sheetrock. He did a whole bunch of stuff. He's the one who taught me how to do sheetrock when I was 7 years old. He taught me how to do sheetrock when I was 7. And my mother's boyfriend at the time, he taught me how to work on cars. Saturdays, he would take me to work with him, and he would have me pass him tools and all that stuff, and he'll tell me what he's doing. So I learned from him. And then I think I was 16 or 17, I met my father's parents for the very first time, and they were having a new house built. So I went up in there and I started talking. They country people. They were here in Georgia. I was in Chicago at the time. So when we came down here, I was talking. I said, you know what? I said, I know how to do that right there. I know how to do the sheetrock. I know how to do the tape now. And they looking at me and said, you just touched. They said, you do that wall right there. And I think one of the uncles went and did the other wall. And when they came in, they liked what I did. And they said, we don't see no little holes. We don't see no little sink in area or whatever. I said, because I was taught by the best. He was the best that I known. My uncle was the best that I know. He taught me how to, when his son is probably 10 years younger than me. So when I lived in New York, New York City, he would take me to work with him. I didn't like being out there because I was living in a Hispanic neighborhood at the time, and the black guys like me, they were speaking Spanish, and I couldn't speak Spanish, so I didn't like hanging with them. Sometimes they'd be talking about me, I didn't know it until this other fella, he said, "Yeah, why they dogging you like that, man? Why they dogging you like that?" So I learned, and he taught me how to do it. They liked the way that I did the wall and stuff in my grandmother's house. So until we left Georgia and came back to Chicago, shoot, I've been in there spackling and filling up and doing all that stuff. I did it just to did it. And they was wondering why a 16, 17-year-old was doing all that. Hey, I learned. When I went to high school, I went to auto mechanic and stuff. I got an A every time. And what the guy was teaching, it was simple stuff. But the thing to it is, nobody up in Chicago, everybody, if they didn't drive, they always rode the bus. So the majority of the people that was in high school with me, they rode the bus. Buses come every 15, 20 minutes down the road. You catch a bus, go wherever you want to go. So the young people, a lot of young people didn't have cars and stuff. So you walk or you ride a bus. So wood shop, I went to wood shop. It was a few things in wood shop that the dude did actually teach me. But I always got an A in wood shop because I knew what he was talking about and I could actually do what he said. I never had a problem with it. Drops Homestead, welcome in. How you doing? One of my grandfathers owned a construction company. We all worked for him eventually. Hey, that's a good thing too. If you can keep it to the family, where the family has a business where they work, and you can keep it in the family, that is good. That is good. I tell my kids all the time about J3GS Farm. I said, one day I'm gonna be gone. I hope y'all could do it. I want the girls. They don't go around the bees right now, but I want both my grandbabies. I want them to do the bee portion. And soon as one's only 1 year old and the other one is 3 years old, once they get, I think when they hit 5, I can take them out there, get them a bee suit and take them out there and let them stand around the bees. But that's my desire. Whether they want to do it or not, I don't know. Yeah, I love wood shop too. My son and his girl, they got some furniture that belonged to her parents, and they wanted to bring it here so I can sand it down and repaint and do all that stuff to it. I said, not right now. I'm trying to get myself together in this yard. I'm trying to get my fruit orchard together and everything. So he said, don't worry about that. I'm gonna leave it sitting right here. He said it on the carport. He said, I'm gonna leave it right here. When you get time, I'll bring it to the house so you can redo it for me. I said, not a problem. So my main purpose right now is my fruit forest and getting stuff prepared for when I'm not here. Do you have a metal or wood lathe? No, I don't. I used to use the wooden lathe when I was on Fort Stewart. I would go there to the wood shop and use the wooden lathe and stuff and make a whole bunch of stuff. I just sometimes I could just watch people do stuff and I can go do it. And then one thing I've learned too, I don't want to do everything exactly like everybody else. So I learned what they got and then I put my own spin on it. Same thing with garden and everything else. You learn from somebody and you put your own spin on it. So you make it yours. You make it the way you can do it easy. So that's how I am. Yeah, I love the wood lathe. I built a whole bunch of stuff back in the 80s. I used to go to the wood shop all the time in Fort Stewart just to use that equipment. Right now, I only have a mini metal. No, I don't do the metal lathe, But I got so many tools out here. The only reason I don't go in my shed is because my shed is, I got so much stuff in my shed that it's too much just for me. I told the wife I want to get me another shed to turn into my honey shed, which will be, one side is nothing but the honey stuff, the middle is me, and the far side would be my wood shop. Because I still got a lot of stuff I want to start make. I want to make my own bee boxes instead of me having to buy them. But I got 9 toolboxes. Well, I'll tell you how bad it is for me. My wife and my kids, they bought me one of them big toolboxes. They bought me one in, I think it was 2008. I think it was 2008. It was 2007, 2008. They bought this toolbox for me, and it got about 10 drawers on it and everything. You know, I have not put any tools in that thing yet. As of today, there's still no tools in there. I like to get my when I'm doing something, I want my tools to be mobile. So me putting tools in the big box, I haven't done it yet. But one good thing to it is you might see a little sweat on my forehead, but like I said, I like the heat. I'm not a person that likes the cold. I'll give you a good example of it. I was sergeant of the guard in Germany. I stayed in my sleeping bag. The only time I got out of my sleeping bag was to feed my soldiers and to wake my soldiers up to go on their guard duty. That's it. Other than that, I was in my sleeping bag the whole time. I may not have been sleeping, but I was in my sleeping bag the whole time. That was my very first time going to Germany. And I said that was worse than New York and Chicago cold. Young soldier, couldn't take it. Couldn't take it. So I don't know much about ACs, but anybody got any question about ACs? I'm gonna give me some books. I will be studying on it. And my thing is, everybody be careful. No matter what you get done, if something breaks down or whatever, get somebody you can trust to check it out. If you can't trust them, get 2 or 3 people to come and see what they say. Then you make a decision and pray about it. Because these guys that were telling me everything I needed, they was telling me some stuff, but they weren't telling me what I need to know. They were doing a lot of talking. But the last guy, he did talking and he did some showing. Now, if it break down, I know who to call. I don't have to call these companies where I know they're gonna try to rip me off. I don't want to buy something that I don't need. Now, and I'm thinking now, back in 2015, well, I'm not gonna say that because that AC system, I think they said that was the original one for this house, and that was over 50 years old. So I'm not gonna say that. But one thing I will say, this system I put out here, it's only 10 years old. I put it in 2015, and once the warranty went out, that's when the problems start. So if you got an AC problem, you can look at some YouTube. Don't jump on the very first thing you see. You need to watch quite a few of them, and you need to try your best to find somebody that you know. So if your brother, your sister, your granddad, if they know somebody, hit them up. Excuse me. I did a video on how to replace a capacitor on a heat pump. Yeah. I saw some of them too. But whew, I'm just glad. And for those that see me drinking this, I don't drink sodas. This is sparkling water. Get some help no matter what. Do not fall for the first thing that these people say. I can see if you've been with somebody for 10 or 20 years, I come to realization I need to check out what they say. Because the people that put the system in, I swore up and down they was going to take care of me regardless. I figured they was going to take care of me because I would go up there and I pay. They say, well, this need to be done. That I didn't have a problem. I would do it. I need a new hot water heater. I have a 30-gallon short tank. They thought they were talking to a fool. I ran them. And Miss Linda, on the hot water heater, this hot water heater in here is the original one that's been with the house. Mine went out, and the thing to it is, I knew what to do. I went and took the heating element. I took both heating elements out. I went and bought new heating elements, put them in, and it's been going strong ever since. This was in 2009. 2008, 2009. The heating element went out. And I went in there. I just looked at it. And back then, I wasn't watching no videos and all that stuff. She's telling you what to do. I just looked at it, and I knew it had a heating element in there. So I took the heat elements off. I opened up the bottom. I dug some of that crustic water and all that minerals that was crusted up in the bottom. I dug all that stuff out. I put the new heating elements in, seal that fella back up. It's been working good ever since. Woo! For $3,000, you could have got 2 units. You could have got 2 units plus he got a tip. No, Miss Linda. That's why we got to learn how to do these things ourselves. Ain't nobody coming to save us nor help us. That's right. That's right. You call your grandson. See, you got somebody to fall back on, Miss Linda. Anything go wrong in your house, your car, whatever, you got a grandson you can fall back on. That's a good thing. They knew one cost $500. They tried. That's it. And see, that's the thing to it. Everybody want to try to rip you off. Me personally, I look at it this way. If I have a business and it costs me $100 to get a tank. Okay, I know the process of doing the tank and everything. Okay, tank costs $300, $325. Now, I know you're gonna have to pay for my services, but $325. The $25 is actually for me spending, getting the tank, bring the tank in or whatever. If I don't have it stocked up or whatever, I might charge you a little just because you have to bring it in. But other than that, I don't want to rip nobody off. That's one of the best things in my life that I can't say I got it from my daddy, but that's one of the things right there. I realized that I do not let money rule me. There's times where I need it, and I know I need it, but I'm not going out to cheat nobody to get it. I've always been that way. Come on, girl. Trust me, I know how to do this stuff. And yeah, that I tell my son and his girl moved into this house. The house belonged to her parents. But you know what? My son surprised me. My son redid the floors in there. He redid the trimming and stuff. And whenever he ran into a problem, he called me. But the whole time he was doing it, he said, Daddy, this rug right, Daddy, can I put flooring down? This rug, I want to take this rug out. I said, yeah, you can put flooring down. I said, get the plastic foam to go up under it. It's like air bubbles. I said, get that stuff, put it down there. He did that. He showed me a picture of everything. That stuff looked good. Almost looked as good as I did it. He had another problem with some kind. I forgot what it was, but he had a problem. Every time he get run into a problem, he would call me and, Daddy, how you do this? How you do that? I tell him. So I said, well, how did you get to do the? I'll watch you, Daddy. I'll watch you. I said, I'm glad you didn't want to do it when I was doing it, but at least he paid attention. One thing that I give my son credit for, we both were sitting in the backyard and I was sitting on my truck. He came sat on the truck. He said, you know what, Daddy? All these times they used to tell me this and tell me that. He said, I ain't pay you no mind now. But now I see you was right. You was right. Hey, it's part about raising kids and leading them the right way to go and everything. And when you got a chance to teach, you teach them. Because they were, I'm not going to say they were dumb, but they were acting dumb because they didn't want to learn. And now when they get their own family and everything, they realize Papa wasn't telling those stories of acting up. He was telling the truth. And they find some children actually learn what to do. And that's one thing I can credit my grandson about my son is that he paid good attention, that he said, Daddy, I just did what I saw you do. Okay, that's good. He said he checked YouTube too and see what they were doing, but he did what I did. He got a little electrical problem, and I said, don't bother, don't do it. I said, whenever I get there, I'll come do it for you. But other than that, I don't want to mess with that day. I said, do not mess with the electricity. I will do it. I told him about the story. I was putting the lights in the church and ended up blowing the light and everything because that's when I thought black was always positive. Correction. That's when I thought black was negative. That's what I was so-called taught when I was young, that the black was negative. But as I grew up, black is positive. In more ways than one. Wellness with Frugal Mama. How you doing? Welcome, man. But he's still got a lot to do on the house. They're living in the house and everything, but there's still a lot that he got to do. Not too long ago, I went to the house and I showed him some things, and he asked me about some things, and I said, well, you can get this done, you can get that done when you ain't on the road or whatever. Just take your time and get it done. He's in a neighborhood where things are pretty decent around there. He's in a country neighborhood. So things are pretty decent. And I said, set the stuff up and do a portion piece by piece. Because when you get home, I know you're going to be tired and everything. Just take your time and do it. And I said, have your boys, when you do it, you have your boys around so that they may not understand what you're doing, but they'll see what you're doing. And I guarantee you, they'll come and tell them the same thing. Yeah, we can do this and we could do. Daddy, I could do that. My grandson, he's not here right now. He's out celebrating his birthday. Today's his birthday. He wanted me to tell y'all today was his birthday, but I said, you tell him. But his dad came and got him. And he watched me do a lot of things too. And he'll come up and, I could do that, Daddy. I could do that. I could do that. I didn't know you can't. A lot of things I wouldn't even let him attempt to do it. One time he told me he could ride the tractor out there and do whatever. I could do whatever you do on the tractor. I said, do not crank that tractor up. Do not get on. Don't even bother that tractor. But sometimes he watched me so much he feel he could do everything I do. My parents taught us several skills. Oh, okay. I got to put this up there. My parents taught me several skills: sew, can, auto mechanics, electric pump, and so forth. Even the girls had to learn. My mother raised me. My mother taught me how to sew. My grandmother, she sewed all the time. My mother sewed. My mother taught me how to knit and crochet. The first thing I did was a pot holder. I did that. My mother and my grandmother taught me how to cook. I would always be in the kitchen when they cook and everything. My mother was an outstanding cook. My mother was in church in New York City and a church in the state capitol. Nobody was allowed to cook. The bishop said nobody's allowed to be in this kitchen when my mom cooked. She didn't allow nobody in the kitchen as long as she cooked. You could have 5,000 people there. She will make enough food for 5,000 people. And there was only one cook. But now when it comes to cleaning, she said, y'all get up in here. But she didn't allow nobody to be in the kitchen while she cooking. And that during the church convention and everything else, she was the only cook. She was in New York City. The whole time she was there, she was the only cook. When they went to the state capitol, she was the only cook in the kitchen. Her sisters, they can cook, but they didn't cook as good as my mom did. Let me see. My mom taught me how, my grandmother, my mother taught me how to cook. My grandmother taught me how to garden. She the one taught me how to garden, my grandmother. My mother was not a gardener. My mother taught me how to sew, knit, crochet. She taught me. It's just that I had no need to do it. Many times I went in, I got on my mother's sewing machine and I would sew my own pants up. My pants were too long. I get me a needle and thread. I'll press that fell out with the iron and I'll go hem it up myself. And I was a young fella. I learned some everything from my mother. My dad, I honestly didn't learn nothing from him. Nothing. Yeah, still have a quilt that me and mom and I've got a container with the stuff that my mother, she crocheted and stuff. I've got it in a trailer in the back. It's a whole bunch of stuff that she just started making. And even when she got up in the years, she'll just sit there and she'll just start crocheting and crocheting. And I should have got rid of the stuff. I didn't. I guess I'd do a video on that one day, just open up that container and let y'all see all that stuff. Widow across the highway, teaching her how to use tools she has never used. Yeah, and that's a good thing when you could teach somebody else how to use the tools and stuff. And since we're in the survival mode too, I'm gonna throw this in there. It's good to have all these electric tools, but you better have some manual tools too. You need to have some manual tools. I've got a drill that you do by hand. It's in the shed somewhere. It's in the shed somewhere. It's a lot of things that you learn. In these times, you need to have both them tools. You need to have tools for your hand, and you need to have the tools up here to use. You need that knowledge. I want to thank y'all for coming in. I'm drinking this seltzer water. It's not doing that for me. I got to go get me some lemon water. It's when you give up the sweets, it's a little difficult. You don't you think about sweet things, but everything you put in your mouth, there's no sweetness to it. So I want to thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for being here and listening to my rant. The only thing I can say is, y'all out there, you better be careful. Be careful. Be careful getting any work done. Be careful even on this YouTube. Be careful, y'all. Be careful what you do, what you say, however it go. Be careful. I'm going to tell you like I tell my grandson all the time. Common sense, it will kill you or it will save you. Common sense, it will kill you or it will save you. Just using common sense. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all. And I see y'all in these YouTube streets. I never tell you bye, but I always say I see you later. because a lot. Well, I'm gonna come back for a second. The reason I never tell anybody goodbye, because a lot of people you tell goodbye and you never see them again. That, and I teach my grandchildren, you don't tell me bye, say I'll see you later. And that's my motto right there. I will see you later. I do not like saying goodbye. Let me see. Some more stuff came in here. Learn. Okay. Mike said facts. Okay, y'all have a blessed night from Drops. You need a miracle berry tree. I probably do. Well, actually, I did have one before, but it died. I did. No, it was a miracle berry. That was another tree. Take care, everyone. All right, Lynette, welcome in. We getting ready to leave. Common sense ain't no common, is what my dad say. Hey, with the miracle berry, everything is sweet. Oh, okay. But I kind of got it out myself. I don't know. I think the last thing I had that was sweet was my peach. I have 4 peaches out there, and yesterday I took the last 2 off. My grandson ate one, and I had to tempt myself, but I went ahead and ate it. Them peaches were so sweet, and they were so soft and juicy, and I had to get it. But after that, that was the only sweetness I had, and I think at one point I got sweets out of my system so much that my taste buds, if I was to eat something sweet, I might get a little shock from it. I've tried that berry. GT work made onion sweet. I guess I'm gonna have to, Miss Linda, I'm gonna have to check into it again. The miracle berry tree. As long as it doesn't put any calories on me, I might eat it. I don't eat anything now unless it's just meat, and I eat eggs, meat, cottage cheese, not cottage cheese, cream cheese. Yeah, cottage cheese. That's it. That's my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner. But I don't eat lunch. I only eat once or twice a day. But I'm not gonna pull a lead farmer. I'm not gonna start all over. But hey, I want to thank y'all for coming in. I love y'all. And as Mike and Miss Linda say, see you bone. Yes, they make steak. Well, now I've been eating a lot of steaks, and I switched, Miss Linda. I eat Delmonico steaks now. I used to get the one with the T-bone and all that stuff, but on the outside of the steak, on the T-bone, the outside portion is nice and tender, but the inside portion with all the meat at, it's a little rough. It's hard chewing. But I got a Delmonico steak. Those are the only steaks I buy now, Delmonico. They're a little expensive, but you don't have to fight to eat it. You cook it the way you want to, and it's nice and tender going all the way down. I like the Delmonico. But I'm going to leave y'all alone, people. Y'all be blessed. I love you. And I see y'all in these YouTube streets. See you later.